How far have we got to go? Anybody keep count? We've got about 70 decks to go to reach farm country, answered Tyler. How do you know? Demanded Mahoney suspiciously. I counted them, stupid, and as we came down I took one away for each deck. You did not. Nobody but a scientist can do numbering like that. Just because you're learning to read and write, you think you know everything. Hoyland cut in before it could develop into a quarrel. Shut up, Alan. Maybe he can do it. He's clever about such things. Anyhow, it feels like about 70 decks. I'm heavy enough. Maybe he'd like to count the blades on my knife. Stow it, I said. Dueling is forbidden outside the village. That is the rule. They proceeded in silence, running lightly down the stairways until increasing weight on each succeeding level forced them to a more pedestrian pace. Presently, they broke through into a level that was quite brilliantly lighted, and more than twice as deep between decks as the ones above it. The air was moist and warm. Vegetation obscured the view. Well, down at last, said Hugh. I don't recognize this farm. We must have come down by a different line than we went up. There's a farmer, said Tyler. He put his little fingers to his lips and whistled, then called, Hey, shipmate, where are we? The peasant looked them over slowly, then directed them in reluctant monosyllables to the main passageway, which would lead them back to their own village. A brisk walk of 1.5 miles down a wide tunnel moderately crowded with traffic, travelers, porters, an occasional pushcart, a dignified scientist swinging in a litter borne by 4 husky orderlies and preceded by his master-at-arms to clear the common crew out of the way. 1.5 miles of this brought them to the common of their own village, a spacious compartment 3 decks high and perhaps 10 times as wide. They split up and went their own ways, Hugh to his quarters in the barracks of the cadets, young bachelors who did not live with their parents. He washed himself and went thence to the compartments of his uncle for whom he worked for his meals. His aunt glanced up as he came in, but said nothing, as became a woman. His uncle said, Hello, Hugh. Been exploring again? Good eating, Uncle. Yes. His uncle, a stolid, sensible man, looked tolerantly amused. Where did you go, and what did you find? Hugh's aunt had slipped silently out of the compartment, and now returned with his supper which she placed before him. He fell to. It did not occur to him to thank her. He munched a bite before replying. Up. We climbed almost to the level of no weight. A mutie tried to crack my skull. His uncle chuckled. You'll find your death in those passageways, lad. Better you should pay more attention to my business against the day when I'll die and get out of your way. Hugh looked stubborn. Don't you have any curiosity, Uncle? Me? Oh, I was prying enough when I was a lad. I followed the main passageway all the way around and back to the village. Right through the dark sector I went, with muties tagging my heels. See that scar? Hugh glanced at it perfunctorily. He had seen it many times before and heard the story repeated to boredom. Once around the ship. Phooey! He wanted to go everywhere, see everything, and find out the why of things. Those upper levels, now, if men were not intended to climb that high, why had Jordan created them? But he kept his own counsel and went on with his meal. His uncle changed the subject. I have occasion to visit the witness. John Black claims I owe him 3 swine. Want to come along? Why, no, I guess not. Oh, wait, I believe I will. Hurry up, then. They stopped at the cadets' barracks, Hugh claiming an errand. The witness lived in a small, smelly compartment directly across the common from the barracks, where he would be readily accessible to any who had need of his talents. They found him sitting in his doorway, picking his teeth with a fingernail. His apprentice, a pimply-faced adolescent with an intent, nearsighted expression, squatted behind him. Good eating, said Hugh's uncle. Good eating to you, Eddard Hoyland. Do you come on business or to keep an old man company? Both.